Hello everybody and welcome back to the second shelf. Back-to-back video filming, as you can see from the blouse, wearing the same blouse as in the last video, because I just filmed the last video about the reviews, the last batch of 3 to be reviewed from the Women's Prize Longlist. And because on Wednesday morning, they will announce the shortlist, I'll give you my ranking and my predictions. I'm only going to talk about the first couple of books when it comes to my ranking, but I will leave in the show notes my total ranking from 1 to 16 with the Goodreads star rating and stuff. So the long list was, a mixed bag, as it always is. I've never come across a price where I read the long list, whether it's 12 or whether it's the Booker 12, like 13, or whether it's the 16 from the Women's Prize, where I thought every single book was just great. There are duds for me in all the lists, always. There's the middle section, good, but, a bit meh, maybe. And I'm just happy if I find 1 or 2 or 3 books on the list, preferably books that I haven't heard of, that just blow me away. And if that happens, then for me, it's a good list. And if the middle section, with the 3-star-ish books is pretty big, that also means it's a good list for me. If I have a lot of books with 1 stars or that are DNF or that really annoy me, but there are always those. So if you followed the reviews, it's probably not a surprise to you if I look at my ranking list. I said I'm only going to talk about the first, but I will mention the bottom. So the Dog of the North, it didn't work for me. The quirkiness, it was just not, I DNF'd it. I couldn't stand it. And the last 2 on the list, number 15 and 16, are 2 debut novels, Memphis, and I'm a fan. And I really thought, Memphis, we have this whole kerfuffle with the author, but apart from that, I just didn't think the book was good. It was trite. The fact that a story is true, because it's highly autobiographical from what I understood, doesn't make it good. And I'm a fan really annoyed me. The Bridget Jones on Instagram, as I call it in my short review, it just really annoyed me. But moving on to the better stuff. So the number 4, 5, and 6 from the list in my ranking are Cursed Bread, Demon Copperhead, and Stone Blind. Those are all 3-star rating books. It's nothing wrong with the book, but they were just not great. But the top 3 I really loved. The first one, number 3, Pod by Laline Paul, written from the perspective of dolphins and other sea creatures, fish and mammals. I thought it was really engaging and emotional and well written, and the message was clear, but the message was not hitting you over the head with the message kind of book, which I felt Demon Copperhead was a little bit. Poverty is bad, oxy is bad, opioid crisis is bad. But Pod gave you the possibility to just read the book as a story, but it had a very clear message, how we humans messed up the oceans and what it means for the animals who have to live there, who can't move to a different location because, they need the water. So I felt that was really a good book. And the first 2, I thought about it quite a while, which one was number 1. Bandit Queens by Perini Schroff. I always mix up that name, horrible. Or Fire Rush by Jacqueline Crooks. And in the end, I thought Fire Rush was so different from what I have read and how she talks about music and the 1980s diaspora of Jamaican people in that community that goes to reggae raves, young people finding their culture, and the way she talks about it and the way she talks about the music. And I think I didn't even mention in the review that the main character is also an artist. She writes music and she is a DJ. I've completely forgotten my rave about that. But I thought that was so different and fresh that I ranked it number one. But Bandit Queens, equally good. I thought it was a brilliant, set in a little village in India, this brilliant take on class and sexism. Again, the topics were clear, but it was, the story came first. And then, of course, if you thought about the book, there also was a story, about how it works in that village with the gender relations and sexism, misogyny, but also classism. And this woman who supposedly killed her husband and is then employed by other women in the village who also want to get rid of their abusive husbands. That's the premise. And then, the story develops from there with twists and turns and surprises. I felt it was a really, really funny book. There were some hilarious scenes, but not quirky funny at all, but it had good humor. And that was also necessary because the theme of the book is not light at all. It's about serious spousal abuse, about serious issues with classism and expectations, societal expectations in this little village, mainly oppressive for the female population. Yeah, so these three, Bandit Queens, Fire Rush, and Pod, I've known about Pod because I read Laline Paul's The Bees, but the other two, Fire Rush and Bandit Queens, I probably would have never heard about if it hadn't been for the list. And that made it already worthwhile for me. So those are my ranking and my top three, and I'm really, really happy that I discovered all those two books and that I read Pod, which I already had planned to read. As for the predictions, I really hope that at least two of my top three will make it. Maybe Pod is too weird, with the whole dolphin thing. But then you have Glory. It's also about talking animals. But but I keep my fingers crossed that Bandit Queens and Fire Rush will make the shortlist. If those two make it, I'm already a happy camper. I'm sure Demon Copperhead will be on the list. So that's 3. I'm also sure, I hope not, but I'm pretty sure that I'm a Fan will be on the shortlist. That's 4. I hated the book. I thought it was annoying as hell, but there you go. Trespasses, the same. I thought it was trite, the relationship. That's a word I employed a lot of times for the books I didn't like. I thought the central relationship was just trite. And the way the story develops was not good. And the only interesting thing about the book was that it was set during the Troubles. That is not enough for me. But Trespasses will probably make it, and Marriage Portrait will probably make it. So my prediction is, the hopeful part is that Bandit Queens and Fire Rush will make it, and then I think Demon Copperhead, Trespasses, Marriage Portrait, and I'm a Fan will be on the long list, on the short list. We'll see. A couple of more days only. So you get 2 videos, by the way, today. I hope that hasn't overwhelmed you, but I wanted to get the ranking and the prediction out, in time before the shortlist is announced. I'm not sure I'm going to film a reaction video we'll see whether I have time on Wednesday to do that. Anyway, so this is my long list, Women's Prize for Fiction long list journey. Thank you very much for, coming with me on this journey. I hope you've enjoyed all the reviews and my rants and raves. I'm looking forward to your comments as always, and I'll speak to you soon in the next one.